What's up, everyone? So, not sure if you've seen it, heard it, uh, but something new is coming. And saw this video this morning, watched the video, posted it on our Discord, and ton of mixed reviews. Like everything in this game, everything's random, everything's RNG. Like it's so unpredictable sometimes that you either are going to be amazing or it's going to be absolute and utter frustration and garbage. Quite frankly, if you're a new player, I don't know how you like keeping up with this stuff on my free to play accounts. It's almost like I say forget about it. Like there's no point in trying to do some of this content as a new player. It's going to take probably years, plural, for somebody to either A, really focus and really want to do some of this content, or B, is somebody like myself who gets rid of their main account and starts fresh altogether, who understands the game. But if you don't really understand what's going on and you don't grasp the concepts and the ease and watch all of these videos to try to really understand and get good at Raid Shadow Legends, it's going to be very difficult. So this is one thing that's coming, and we're just going to go ahead and break down the video and the thoughts. I have my opinions and I have my thoughts, but let's go through it together. And we're just going to kind of skip ahead. So what is it? It's ascending, just like you can ascend a champion, but this time you can actually ascend gear. So where all your gear is kind of maxed out, level 16, flat statted, now you actually have to farm for potions, or oils as they call it, in order to further ascend your gear. This screenshot stood out at me. So at the very top here, you could see you got a level 6 maxed out boot. It's speed with a speed substat. So when I saw this for the very first time, with a speed ascension, that's an additional 12 speed fully ascended on top of 45 speed. Like we're going to see some people exceeding, 400, 450, maybe even stats. Like it's going to be bonkers of how difficult. Same with, attack percent on the chest, and you get a bonus attack percent on the chest as an ascension. Champions are going to hit that much harder. The content is either going to get a lot easier or a lot more challenging because you're going to have to farm more in order to get the same piece, and you're potentially going to screw it all up. So this is what ascending gear looks like. Basically, they work similar to potions, except there's a new dungeon here where you're going to have to farm up these, what they call oils. The lower oils get you to like 1 and 2. The medium oils get you to 3 and 4. And the higher oils get you to 5 and 6. Very similar to how potions work. We have the Sand Devil's Necropolis up here on the top to the right of Fire Knight. This one is going to be for your gear. The one down below on the bottom right here will eventually open up for accessories. So now think about it. You can get an attack banner potentially with an ascension of accuracy, and now all of a sudden you don't, all those champions that could use accuracy but really benefit from a defense or an attack stat instead. Now you can get both. And so this really opens up the game, and I keep saying you can, because on an attack banner you can also roll defense flat stat. And how's that going to help anybody? You know what I mean? So on an attack percent chest, you can get flat defense. On an accuracy chest, you can get flat attack. Like, you still have that randomness that could make that piece, sure, it's a little bit better, but could virtually make it trashy in comparison to what it could be. So this is how it works.
Fact will turn from.
So this is, for a rank 4 artifact, what you would need. So you need 15 of the higher potions to get maxed out. rank 5, so 15 of the maxed, 45 of the mediums. So to get a rank 5 up to 4-star, you need 45 of them. But to get a rank 4 4-star, you only need 30 of them. So it's kind of, and then it goes up from there. Then it goes up from there. So again, to get 4-star levels rank 6, you need 60 of these potions. So you're going to have to farm this thing daily. I really hope when they implement this, they implement it like potions, where you can get potions through daily, the hourly rewards, the daily rewards, even, some of the advanced rewards. Hopefully they put these things in much more accessibly, because first of all, most people have to constantly purge their gear. 1,300 pieces, tons of champions. I think I'm close to 2,000 pieces because most of my champions are built. That's a lot of oils that I'm going to have to literally farm for months just to try and upgrade and ascend some of my gear on some of my champions. So you're really going to need to prioritize what you're going to ascend. Now, first thought, they did this with Iron Twins, right? What is this, all this other stuff and that we can get in the essences and all these soul stones, but where are we now? Some people still don't mind it. Some people are doing doubles a day. Some people are only doing doubles on Sunday. But at the end of the day, you're seeing a lot more champions that are out there that are ascended, that are upgraded, and that have these soul stones attached to them, or these souls attached to them. This is going to be no different. So some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to think it's added work. Some people are going to just do it. The people that are serious will, religiously farm this. But what you need to do is, as with anything, start off slow. Start off, farming it little by little. There's going to be a point where it's going to become difficult. There's going to be a point where somebody's going to figure out the best way to kill this boss. And then you can go ahead, the best champions that you can use, and go from there. So this is actually the breakdown of what you can get. So on gloves, basically any stat that you can get as a main stat on the piece, you can also get as an ascended stat on gloves, chests, and boots. The thing with this is you don't get to choose. You get what you get at the end of the day. Boots are the only ones that you can get speed on. Gloves are the only ones you can get the crit rate or crit damage on. Chest is the only one you can get accuracy or resistance. But weapon, helmet, and shield you can also get HP, attack, and defense, where you couldn't get them before as percentage. So that's pretty cool. This screen here, once you roll it, that's what you get. You can't re-roll it. They made a comment in the video, not yet at least. Okay, so hopefully down the road. So if you do get it, roll a crap piece, use it for now. It's better than what you had before at the end of the day, if you think of it that way. But these ascensions here are really going to sway and change what you can get. As you can see, the shield got an additional, maxed out level 6, got an additional 1,200 HP. Think about that. What's 1,200 HP? Not much. Okay. So this isn't going to break the game until we start looking at crit rate or crit damage on gloves, percentages, addition, attack percent or accuracy on top of accuracy chests, added resistance on a resistance chest, attack percent on an attack percent chest. Once you start looking at things like that, I think that's when you're going to really start to sway and change the dynamics. But like a level 6 on a shield for 1,200 HP, like that's not much if you think about it. So what I would recommend here, just by looking at this right away, don't worry about weapon, helmet, and shield. Focus yourself on the gloves, the chests, and the boots, and see what you get. Because if you can get additional speed on speed boots, you're laughing. If you can get additional speed on attack percent boots or HP percent boots, you're laughing. That's ultimately what you want. Unless it's somebody like an ultimate deathlight and you're really trying to keep them as slow as possible. Then you don't want speed. right? The other thing is for your clan boss teams, if you pull speed on your boots, you just threw out your whole speed tune. So you really need to be careful on where you're using these ascensions, how you're using these ascensions, and quite frankly, you may not even use these ascensions. I might throw an ascension on my gloves or my chest for my clan boss team, but I don't think I'm going to roll my boots because if I roll speed, I've just thrown my whole team out of whack. So you really need to be careful on where. On my Arbiter, you're darn right. Every single speed boot I own, I'm going to start to ascend them to try to get that extra bonus speed on my speed lead champions that are in the arena. So think of it that way. Not every single piece is going to get done, but it's something that's going to just be added to your plate. Now, the boss itself, the Sand Devil's Necropolis. I would recommend you watch this video from this point to this point. It's only about 4 minutes, and it really breaks down the skills and how they work and how difficult this boss is going to be and all the different moving parts to it. From the 6 minute mark to the 7 minute mark, so about a minute, they give you tips on how to beat this boss. And then they basically kind of laugh at you saying, go figure it out. So this boss has a passive that is immune to all debuffs except sleep. So once you sleep this boss is now can now receive debuffs. So, similar to some of the other, actually, I don't even know if there is a boss. Some of the bosses are, immune to certain debuffs. This boss is immune to all debuffs except sleep. Once you land sleep, then you can start putting your poisons and your burns and your decreased heals and your weakens and your hexes and your decreased defenses, decreased attacks, and really start to increase the amount of debuffs on this boss. Now, when he's slept, it also decreases the amount of damage that it receives. So once it's slept, it's only taking 75% damage. So it's kind of like, think of it this way. If it's slept, you don't do damage, but you could put all your debuffs. And then once it wakes up, you can do full damage, but you can't put debuffs. So you have to think of this boss in stages. On top of that, once this boss wakes up from sleep, it can't be slept again. So what you're going to do is sleep it, and then you're going to have to let it go before you re-sleep it. So there's almost going to be the 2-turn cooldown on when you can sleep this boss. So it's really going to be something to consider when you're killing the boss and the strategy for killing this boss. It also has the second passive that there's a tick. There's a bar where the boss takes a certain number of hits. So on the lower stages, it takes 10 hits for this boss to wake up out of sleep. So it's not right away. So you really want to prioritize champions that place debuffs, like Dracomorph would be perfect here. Places the decreased defense and weaken, which means you're not actually hitting the boss, which means that counter is not ticking. However, when you use Draco's A2, it's a triple hitter, puts out a quadruple hitter, puts out 4 poisons on each hit. That's hitting the boss 4 times, at which point you're taking off 4 out of the 10 on the lower stages, but getting out those 4 poisons on top of that. So you really need to prioritize placing buffs. So if you have a champion like Eurogrim, who can place a poison, who can also heal, that is a champion that you really want to put in a team like this. We now have the third skill that it's when it attacks, it decreases the the max HP of all targets by 10%, regardless of how much HP or what they are or any kind of resist. It doesn't matter. Just 10% chopped right off the top. Now, when the boss is slept, you can actually heal. So you need to bring a healer with you in order to start healing that HP back. This is where, active heals come in. You're not hitting the boss. You're able to heal. continuous heal buffs come in. So a Pardon right away is somebody that would be great at this process. You want to bring in maybe like a bishop, archbishop, who can put out increased accuracy, who can also heal, who can put out some debuffs as well, because ultimately, so the value of the heal is ultimately what you are bringing back onto your team. So there's lots going on when you sleep this boss. You're not doing the damage, but you're kind of recovering and getting back to normal state, which is important to know. Those are just the passive skills. Okay. Then he's got 3 active skills. All his attacks are AoE based. Decrease speed, decrease accuracy. So you ideally want to bring some kind of cleanser. This is where the resistance comes in, which would help. This one is a removes all debuffs, so cleanses and heals himself. The amount healed is proportionate to the amount of destroyed HP on your team. So if everyone's got real low HP, because the max HP got real low, then his heal is going to be that much bigger. So you really need to ensure that you're healing yourself when the boss has slept, so that when he decides to go ahead and heal himself, the heal's not that big. Okay. And then third, this one basically destroys you and wipes your team up. So it will attack everybody, ignores everything, and block, unkillable, and shield, and 100% of your target's defense. It will literally one-shot you. The only way around this skill is a ally revive, or a self revive, I should say. A Godseeker Neri would work, because Godseeker will pick somebody up when somebody's about to die. Some of the other champions that do AoE or even self revives would be beneficial here. Or any champion that revives when somebody else is around would also help. But there is literally like pretty much no surviving this nuke. So you do need to consider a reviver of some sort. And then this is basically what it kind of looks like.
Shields, block damage, and unkillable buffs, as well as 100% of your...
And then here you go, block, defense, it doesn't matter. This boss will literally nuke you dead. So what you want to do is bring in champions that can self-revive, and then can put that out right before the boss's turn. So these are just some of the strategies. So some of those champions that you never really been using, because like sleep is like whatever. Even sleep sets, right? Like I've been selling them all because quite frankly, they're not that helpful. Sorry, I had to look it up because I'm like, it's a set that I don't even use and I instant sell. I don't even look at it. But now I'm going to start considering getting it. Is the days set. 25% chance to place a sleep debuff on a champion when they're hit. So if you don't have sleep champions and you have like multi-hitting type champions, you can always bring a sleep set and then just constantly, it is a 4-piece set, but on certain champions, multi-hitting champions, you can increase that percent chance to land that sleep and hopefully always ensure that the boss has slept. I know it's a lot to consider, but just like Iron Twins, when it came out, everyone was up in arms. A lot of people quit. A lot of people were like, I'm done with this. Some people stuck it out. And now look, no one's talking about Iron Twins. People do it or they don't. I think this is going to be no different. Hopefully they put these oils into events, into tournaments, into rewards, not like the first place on global and that's the only person who can get one. Hopefully, you need like, what was it, 60, 70 of them, of the max ones to get to level 6 per piece. Like they got to be more accessible than that. And hopefully that, over time you start to slowly fill them and you can go from there. So area, that is a new video that Raid put out. Don't worry about it yet. Let's get it out. Let's consider it. Let people start working on it, playing on it, getting on the test server before we really start to realize how much of a problem or how beneficial it actually would be. Because if you get the right role, this can change your account. If you get the wrong role, no different than if the boss never existed. All right. Anyways, that's my opinion. That's my feedback. Those are my thoughts. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care, everyone.